All right, we're
Hello,
good.
everybody. Welcome back for part two of our prep. My name is Robert Thewison,
And I'm Owen McKay.
and like I said, we have part two here. Questions 7 and 8 of part two. 7 talks about or wants us to know more about the early concepts of evolution, particularly about Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. With Lamarck, he was a pretty interesting man. He was a botanist and was very knowledgeable about invertebrates. And anyway, the main thing of why he's important to evolution is that he really kind of formulated how evolution was as a whole. So he did take some thoughts from previous, but he also proposed some great new ones. And in 1801, he started proposing some new ideas of his. Anyway, so what Lamarck realized in his studies was that he hypothesized that if a certain species didn't use an organ or a structure, particularly on their body, that over time it would become obsolete and shrink in purpose and in function for later generations. And so an example that we found in the reading and also that I feel like is pretty good that explains it is about giraffes. And so I'm just going to screen share for a second about a picture that I have. Let's see here. Zoom in really fast, just a little bit. So what this diagram, like it says, is showing is the elongation of a neck in a giraffe, according to Lamarck. And what this really means is that as the trees grew higher and as the environment changed, the giraffe species had to change as well. And so the giraffes with longer necks were able to reproduce and have success that way, and the population would evolve according to it, according to the tree heights and different things that way. So that's very interesting. Another one of thing is pretty interesting is that he was also famous for the idea of organisms and how as time goes on, they grew in complexity. And Owen has a great visual about him and also Darwin.
All right. So like you said, Lamarck's idea that evolution progressed from progressing complexity. Things got more complex as you went on. Ended up changing a little bit with Darwin, but Darwin ended up taking a bulk of what his theory was and used it. So Lamarck based his idea on the use and disuse of various organs or structures. Darwin focused on variation. So as the environment changed, species would split off and start adapting to that. One of the biggest difference is that things increase in complexity. Evolution is in a march towards complexity. So there's Darwin, who had differential survival. Lamarck also thought there was no extinction, which we know that there is extinction. So those are some difference between Lamarck and Darwin in some of their findings. But Lamarck had a great influence on the theory of evolution as we know it.
Great, thanks, Owen. Just moving on to number 8, question 8, uniformitarianism. Sorry about the pronunciation there, but this is by Charles Lyell. And Charles Lyell was a lawyer in Britain, but then kind of decided that he wanted to make geology his baby, and so he wanted to make sure that the field was based on observation, not speculation. And somebody who he really looked up to was a man by the name of James Hutton. He was a farmer, a Scottish farmer, who did do things based off of observation. And so when Lyell was younger, and in the early 1790s, and especially even later in the early 1800s, Hutton proposed the idea that instead of fast-changing Earth, a more reasonable and evidence-filled view of a slow and gradual changing environment was a better idea. And this was Lyell's what he really used to help form his uniformitarianism idea. And with that, he also was able to influence Darwin in many ways.
So Darwin took this idea and he saw evolution in it. So Darwin saw kind of a uniformitarianist view of nature, so that evolution itself is slow, something we can't necessarily view with our eyes. It's something that happens gradually over time. And so Charles Lyell took these ideas, and I mean, when we look at evolution now, we know that it's extremely slow. It's not this catastrophic event or this very abrupt change. It's very slow, just as Darwin stated and Lyell stated.
So yeah, that's for part 2. Hopefully that was pretty insightful for you. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.